All right, you're here for the battlefield to the boardroom. You are joined today by Neil Gott, an awesomer, and myself, Garth Massey, with the Command Ready program. And today we are talking about the things that make us stronger, but don't kill us, which is resilience. Neil, thanks for coming, man. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then I know you work getting people outside. I know you work directing and helping senior level or executive level people.
But I'll tell you a little bit about my background first. So I got out of the Guard in 2017. And what was really tough for me about that transition was that I'd been in the uniform over half my life. And so when I decided to hang up the boots, there was a lot of my identity really tied into that community. And so I think that my journey since then, when I discovered coaching and I discovered how much of that identity from the military informs who I am now. There was some struggle along the way because, when I first got out, I put on a bunch of weight, was struggling with who I am and what this means now that I'm not in uniform. And so when I discovered coaching and actually went on the journey last couple of years, lost 50 pounds, ran my 12th marathon, and really centered into my purpose and what I'm here to do. And that's when I started Awesomer, because it's a made up word because I think we can't take ourselves too seriously. Life can be enough of a struggle in its own right. We got to be able to laugh along the way. But I also believe that it's important to try to live each day awesomer than the last. And it's not about all puppy dogs and rainbows either. It's about understanding the challenge, but it's also about pausing to recognize the joy of just being in this experience and being a human being. So we help leaders through discovery of their authentic selves. And there's a lot of coaches that say that, but I think coaching gets into your presence. To me, that's the most powerful part of coaching, is when you can just be present with another human being. And for me, it's all about raising that self-awareness. So that feels like a very quick overview and with not a lot of detail about where I came from. But my journey in the Army, we discovered the Master Resilience Training Program, MRT. I don't know if the other branches have something similar, but a good 10 years ago when we discovered that we had a problem with suicide, that was the thing that the Army did, is they reached out to UPenn and contracted this whole resilience training program. And that's the first time I discovered positive psychology, which isn't, again, about puppy dogs and rainbows. It's about using psychology for positive outcomes. So that kind of launched me into my coaching journey once I got out of the military and discovering what's possible since then.
Yeah, I think you bring up, those things are amazing. And yeah, every service has its own approach, and it is the suicide is a problem across the board for all branches. And some of it is how much time and energy can you prep into that when you're prepping for war too. There are conflicting interests, right? But I think that's true in every business. Like, there's conflicting interests, and maybe it's not suicide, maybe it's just retention. If you have employees that are leaving you, that's a sign you have a problem in the way people are engaged or compensated or treated. You have a problem in the way the managers are dealing with them. Those are things you must be aware of. And you mentioned something at the beginning that I like. We do some similar things out here on the other coast, but getting outside. We've all been trapped in this pandemic, and getting stuck in one place, I think is hurting really bad. And we're looking for ways to go outside and engage with each other and engage with our environment. I know you do stuff like that. Like, what's a good program that any of us could do or could participate in to get us out, to get us engaged?
Well, I think you nail it in that it is about just getting outside and getting engaged. I'm going to fail you on a good program to recommend because I don't have a good one off the top of my head. But I am building that. So I'm going up to the Boundary Waters in a couple months. As soon as the ice thaws out, we can actually get out on the water. And I don't know if you've heard of the Boundary Waters. It's this fantastic wilderness area that we've got here in Minnesota. It's literally on the boundary between Minnesota and Canada. You can only access via non-motorized watercraft. So we're going to.
Isn't that where John Candy invaded Canada? And famous film "Oh Canada."
There you go. Exactly. Right. Historical context. So that's what we're working on, building some programs around, at least from my own company. And so we don't have anything ready for prime time just yet. But I think that what a lot of us are missing as part of this crisis fatigue is community, being able to engage with each other. And so what I have done so far is just I've connected with other coaches, just going for a walk, just getting a little bit of wilderness hike in. we've got some good trails, available to us here in Minnesota, which is it's a nice resource to have. So just getting outside and being in community, it's as simple as that. It's not like you have to pay somebody to have a human connection. But I'll certainly take your money if you want to pay me.
I'm good, but I think it's a great idea. And actually getting outside, getting an accountability group with other like-minded individuals. I have a group I'm part of here for several months now. We call it the program, and it's just dads. It's local area dads, and we meet 3 days a week at 6 a.m. and exercise. And there's a dozen of us that show up every time almost. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing to like remind yourself how important it is to josh each other a little bit and to push each other a little bit, and the text chains that have grown off that, like you can't replace that. And it only started, we all wanted it, but it only started when we started just doing the work, like going out and participating in the program. And that opened a floodgate of the human part. And it's very easy to forget that, I think, just in the confines of our home offices or in our work offices. I mean, that's part of the reason, like, you got to leave that door open sometimes. Any plugs you want to put out there?
So there is one thing that isn't quite specific to the veteran community, but I'm part of the Center for Coaching in Organizations. So when I got certified as an executive coach, I went through the University of St. Thomas, had a fantastic program and just a great experience there. And I've got a great community of coaches as a result. However, St. Thomas has closed their program. So a bunch of us that are alums of the program have banded together to create the Center for Coaching in Organizations. And we have a 2-day summit kicking off in April 29 and 30. It's all about unleashing the power of human potential through coaching in organizations. So obviously it's virtual with everything else like it is in the pandemic, but we're super excited to be launching this brand new organization to bring more coaches into the world.
That's cool. So if people want to get involved, they just got to direct message you.
It's an easy way. Yep, for sure.
And if you want to be a coach, this is for people who really want to build the skill set. That's
correct. Right. The summit is kind of our launch into the world. And so the summit is probably tailored a little more for HR professionals and organizations or leaders that want to better understand how they can use coaching in their organization. Right. But our organization overall is going to be about bringing new coaches into the world. So our inaugural coach class won't be starting until next fall, and hopefully in person. Hopefully we're through this pandemic by then. But our inaugural summit is our launch into the world. So that's where we're starting.
Excellent. All right. Well, check it out. So April 29th and 30th, virtual how-to classes, right? So everybody out there who put, life coach in your LinkedIn thing, get some real chops and check out Neil's program. All right. Well, in our little short chat, but the battlefield to the boardroom, this is something I think every service member knows, whether they've articulated it or not. But I think if we were to summarize it, it would be, if you've been inside, get outside. And do it in the way you feel safe, do it in the crowd you feel safe, do whatever, is appropriate in your city, your state, your town. But understand that if you've been trapped, untrap yourself. Because that's the first thing that'll get you thinking again, that'll get parts moving again, that'll get your ideas out. Do it in a way that is safe, that you understand. But you got to do it. You got to get somewhere. It can't just be the four walls that you surround yourself with. The mind is a most wonderful prison. You got to put it outside so that it can open up and move forward. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you. It was fantastic.
And if they got any questions, people should connect with Niels. Actually, we've had a chance to talk a couple times. But yeah, if you haven't connected on LinkedIn, connect on LinkedIn and give them you're open to growing your network, right? I mean,
absolutely. Please do. Yes. Yeah.
And if you're a vet and you're trapped someplace, talk to some people, go outside, go for a walk.